Middleweight division, UFC Vegas 101, Chris Curtis versus Roman Kopylov. And this fight is underway, and we're with you till this fight ends. And this is a big middleweight fight. You had a lot of talking going on heading into this fight. Chris Curtis making the claim originally that there were two Russian fighters that kind of infiltrated his gym. And then he retracted that later, which I don't get that. But, you had all that stuff going on. So this USA versus Russia makes it even more interesting. This is in the Apex Center. It's kind of quiet, but, there are some people there for sure. And both guys standing left-handed. And that opens up the leg kicks. Lefties are going to face righties most of the time, right? So when you face another lefty, it's just a little bit different for these guys. Oh, nice right by Kopylov. Another nice right. Oh, boy. And, man, that jab is ridiculous by Kopylov, and that's going to open up the left here as time goes on. So Kopylov getting off to a good start. Another left right down the pike. Oh, boy. And, when all those allegations were made, you don't see Kopylov needing to do that. I mean, the guy's a really good fighter. He's 13-3, has had a lot of success. The thing going for Chris Curtis is that he's, a big-time veteran with 42 fights under his belt. And Chris lands a leg kick, but he's taking a lot of punches here. Oh, it's close, though. 19-17 in significant strikes, 12-11 in head strikes. Still pretty close. Doesn't seem like it, though. More of the power shots going towards Roman Kopylov. Well, we do know how tough Chris Curtis is. I mean, he's been tough throughout. Even coming into the UFC, getting a couple big victories. Things are getting tougher now, but guy's very capable of landing KOs. He's very durable. Chris Curtis whiffing on a big left. And Kopylov is doing a much better job with the jab. He just looks more comfortable, lands a nice body shot right there after catching a leg, and lets it go. So far, both these guys fine with the stand-up game. Takedown attempt by Roman. He didn't get it. Which is one of the keys for Chris Curtis coming into this fight. Defend the takedowns, keep the fight standing, and then win this thing with sure heart and will. Kopylov is just more active, making it very tough, looking smooth, looking good on the feet. Oh, nice uppercut by Chris. Okay. Okay. Nice uppercut by Kopylov. And what a division this is right now, right? With Duplessis being the champ, you got Hamzat coming. Duplessis versus Strickland first. You still got Adesanya in the mix. Big fight night coming between Adesanya and Mayvov here in a couple weeks. So this division is heating up here early in 2025. A nice stiff left by Chris Curtis, who isn't going anywhere. I mean, it's just 46-41 in significant strikes. Very active. Very active. These guys are in between 9 and 10 significant strikes per minute, so definitely more active than their career. Will one slow down first? I don't know. Final 10 seconds, round one. And Kopilov's mouth guard fell out. The ref stopped it, which is weird because there's only like 8 seconds left. And that'll do it for round one. So, no letdown here, as both these guys are going at it for sure. So at the end of round one, it's 54-47 for Kopylov in significant strikes, 40-38 in head strikes. So very, close round. I mean, you look at the numbers, and this wins a round against most other UFC fighters, 90% of the time, right? But you have a good round here, and you might go down 1-0, according to the judges. 10-9. No takedowns. 0 for 2 for Kopylov, 0 control time. So, I mean, if you're either fighter, I mean, what are you going to say? Just stay on the same path, really. We got to see what's going to happen. Chris Curtis obviously wants to defend the takedowns. He's done that, but he's getting beat on the feet slightly. It's very close. Kopylov, you might say, hey, shoot for some more takedowns. Attempt to get 1 or 2, but if not, keep it on the feet. You're doing fine there. So not much really to say in terms of a different strategy after round 1, in my opinion. And they pick up where they left off. So very active here early in the second round. 10 seconds in, and already about 20 attempts. Ooh. Okay. Now Chris opens up with a nice 3-punch combo. And now Chris starting to work the jab with the lead leg kick. Wow. Chris Curtis picking up the pace here. Has already knotted this thing up in significant strikes. 61-61. 48-47 Curtis in head strikes. We keep you up to date with that just so you understand what's happening. It means nothing in round by round. But what you know is that Roman led by a good 7 or 8 significant strikes in round 1. So if Curtis can knot it up, which he's done, he's up by 7 or 8. So, and these guys can't both keep this pace up. It just can't happen. Chris Curtis looking stronger right now. Kopylov starting to slow down, and he lands a nice right though. Now it's Roman who's going to be tested, right? We know Chris Curtis has the will, but there's Roman. Both guys land a big right. Now it's Chris Curtis with a right and a left. Chris Curtis looking much better in round 2. At an extreme pace. I mean, we're only 1:45 in here, and it seems like we're 6 minutes into this round. I mean, it's crazy. These guys are definitely going at it. The pace is ridiculous. Chris Curtis at 78 significant strikes, so we're not even halfway through the fight. And now a low kick by Kopylov, and that's going to slow things down. That's unfortunate for Chris Curtis. Dang. And he's going to want to start this thing as soon as he can, and it looks like he wants that to happen right now. Because you don't want Kopylov to get any time to rest. That quick break definitely helped Kopylov. You already see it. I mean, he's still going to be slowing down, but it's a nice break midway through the round, especially after these guys are getting after it. And a nice right on Chris Curtis, who was on his way in. Ooh. Man. In terms of who's got the most power and creating problems, it's definitely Chris Curtis. As you can see it all over Roman's face. 2:05 left in round 2, and now Roman opens up. Now what? Now what? Another time. Dang. Now we got a poke by Roman. And this is really messing things up for Chris Curtis. Seems to be wearing down Roman, but having 2 stoppages around 2 really helps Roman get his breath back. It takes the momentum away from Chris Curtis. And now he's asking for the tag. Try to use Mark Smith's shirt. Here we go. Looks like we're going to get a start to this thing. So quiet in the Apex, you can hear people laughing in the background. It's crazy. Looking forward that I'm getting out on the road a little bit. Got LA next week for UFC 311, then UFC Saudi Arabia. Of course, that's back to back. Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, it will be back to back because the following week is when you got Duplessis versus Strickland and a big left by Roman. But as we said earlier, some big fights in the middleweight division upcoming. Now all of a sudden it's Roman looking refreshed. And, who knows what Chris Curtis is thinking? You might just want to get through this round. I mean, you're definitely going to win this round, barring anything, major. I mean, he's up 101 to 80 in significant strikes, and he was down 7 or 8 to begin the round. So round 1, very close. Round 2 is going to Chris Curtis. And this is all, of course, if we even get to 3 rounds. Or to a decision for that matter, because these guys, this pace is so ridiculous. And really just testing the will of each other. I mean, is what it comes down to. I mean, Chris Curtis is well over 100 significant strikes. Roman Kopylov is headed there. But it's Chris Curtis who's looking like he's getting stronger and stronger every minute. Oh, big left by Roman near the end of the round. Oh, my goodness. Big left. Oh, my goodness. Interesting fight. And, I think now if you're Roman's camp, what are you going to say here? Because your opponent is pulling away. Chris Curtis's camp is just going to say, hey, keep doing what you're doing because it's going the right direction. But Roman's camp is going to have to be thinking, what can we do differently? How can we slow Chris Curtis down? You can go back to takedown attempts, although Chris Curtis has shown that he's very good at defending takedowns. So there's not really an angle here for Roman. That leads me to believe that Chris Curtis will pull away in this round. But Roman's going to have to really check himself, dig deep. This is the time you got to show your heart and go after and get it because that's the only way he's flipping momentum right now on Chris Curtis. He's already landed 112 significant strikes. I mean, he's just rolling right now. I mean, 112 in just 2 rounds. So that's 11 significant strikes per minute. Roman 9.3. So these guys are way above their averages. And they're both delivering and taking. So here we go. Round 3 is underway, and a little respect before the round starts. Curtis kicks things off with a big right. Roman's hands are moving quite well, so are his feet, so it seems like he's got a little energy back. We'll see how that works here as the first minute or two continues. I think if you're Curtis, you just want to keep the pace up. Some people saying 2018 Kopylov. No way. How can you say the first was close? The second round was dominated by Chris Curtis. Oh, some big uppercuts now by Kopylov and a left. My goodness. And here we go. He's flipping momentum. He's flipping the momentum. Let's go, Chris. Come on, Chris. Why are you picking it up? Come on, Chris. Well, this is tough because Roman's picking up the pace for sure here in round 3. And you can tell because Chris Curtis looks like he's a third of the speed he was in round 2. Now, Chris Curtis showing some signs of getting tired. Hard to believe. Come on, Chris. Land something. Got to get some momentum here. Big left by Roman. Chris Curtis in a little bit of trouble. Covers up well, though. Roman looking for the opportunity, but couldn't find it. And a nice body shot now by Roman, who all of a sudden is just flipped this thing in round 3. And a nice leg kick. Gosh. Come on, Chris. You got to do something here. Come on, Chris. These guys are going at it, dude. These guys are going at it. Halfway through the round, barely. I mean, it's just crazy. So far, this is looking like the obvious choice for fight of the night. Now, there's 3 fights to go. But right now, this fight is unreal. Gosh, you look at the numbers and you think, okay, Roman is closing the gap, but he's not. I mean, this round has been pretty even, although it seems like it's more Roman. So Chris Curtis has got to definitely pick it up here in the final 2 minutes. Oh. Gosh. Okay, Chris, now's your time. He's looking a little tired. You got to defend the takedown. He doesn't. Oh, that was crucial, man. That was crucial. That was right about the time it looked like Chris was going to flip the script on him and close the door. And after he lands one, he's kind of off balance, and boom, Roman comes in for the takedown. Dang. Oh, don't give up your back. Dang, Chris, come on, baby. Yeah, he's got to get out of this at all costs. And he does. Almost. Oh, leg kick coming up. Roman really timed it. But Chris doesn't worry about that. He's got to continue. This is going to be a big finish here. 38-34 in this round for Kopylov. Yeah, it's easily 1-1 right now. And Chris has to finish here because he looks like he's off balance a little bit. In terms of being able to move. Both guys just got their feet planted in the ground right now. Roman's hands on his knees. He stands back up. 40 seconds left, and these guys are exhausted. And I still think it's anyone's fight, but I think Roman is leading this round. Chris needs a big finish here. Now Kopylov going in again, and he almost gets it. Almost gets a takedown. Chris Curtis remains standing, though. And that just shows you how tired Roman is, too. Like when you get to a point where it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to try to get the takedown and just hold this thing and finish it. You know you're tired. Final 6 seconds, and these guys are exhausted. What a fight. Oh, and Chris Curtis goes down. Oh, and Mark Smith stops it with 1 second left. Mark Smith calls it with 1 second left. And what happened was Chris Curtis took one, and he goes down, and he attempts to get back up, but he doesn't. And Mark Smith's looking at him, and he's looking at the clock, and he's like, that's it. And it's going to be a controversial stoppage, but, I mean, we need to see the judges' scorecards now. This is one of those things. But Roman Kopylov gets the credit for the TKO, and Chris Curtis is upset, but that's the way it goes, man. It was a good stoppage. It was just a shame there's only like 1 second left. Beam. Lands the left, okay. So Chris takes a step back. Okay, that wasn't the right one. Here we go. We're going to see it now because it was a leg kick. Beam. Perfect. Oh, wow. Okay. Chris Curtis takes to his knees. Roman doesn't come in for any more shots, though. That's the crazy part. And Roman just walks away, and Mark Smith calls it. 1 second left. Unbelievable. So Roman Kopylov going to get credit for the TKO victory here. Unbelievable. Middleweight division. UFC Vegas 101.